My name is Jeff Mathias. I'm the Training Marketing Director over here at First Response Solar. Been in the solar industry for about 17 years. Owned a company here in Sonoma County selling and designing solar systems for 15 of those years. And went to school in Santa Barbara, where my economics and business degree is going to help a little bit in explaining this blog, I hope, where we're going to be talking about the best ways to finance solar systems. One of the things as an owner of a solar company and focusing on sales and design that I loved was sitting over the kitchen table with homeowners and talking to them about not just ways to purchase a solar system, but ways to finance a system so that it could meet within their budgets and it could meet within the resources that they had available to themselves. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What I try to do is simplify it. So what I'm going to try to do here today as part of this blog is to take the 25-year cost of a solar system and take all the costs that would accompany that solar system over a period of 25 years and come up with a cost per kilowatt hour. A kilowatt hour is 1,000 watts. So as I always say, before we go on this journey, let's pack a bag and come up with some terms. One term is a kilowatt hour. 1,000 watts, that is the billing increment that PG&E uses to basically charge the homeowner in Sonoma County here for power. The blended rate kilowatt hour cost for PG&E right now across the different residential rate schedules is about 45 cents. So that is a kilowatt hour. You'll see here there's a couple blogs that I've written on net energy metering on the First Response blog website, and these will explain a little bit more about what is net billing tariff. Net billing tariff is a new PG&E rule that has us put together that really requires the need of a battery or a savings battery in addition to solar so that we can store power during the day because PG&E does not pay us a lot for solar exports anymore. And then we can turn around and use that power in the evening. As part of this comparison, I am not only going to include just a savings battery as part of the solar system, I'm also going to make it a backup battery. So one of the bonuses of the four systems that I am going to compare to PG&E is that they will have a backup system. The battery size will be 20 kilowatt hours, of which I'm assuming about half of that will be used as a savings battery to store and use at night, and the other half can be kept in reserve by a homeowner should the power go out to run the refrigerator or the lights and basically make our homes more safe and secure. The four systems I'm going to comparing this to are a third-party ownership model. That is where another company actually purchases a system and leases it back to a customer on a monthly basis, or does what's called a power purchase agreement. They will actually sell the power back to the homeowner on how much power is produced. Usually those are more expensive in the summer because we produce more power in the summer, and the billing is less expensive in the winter because it is we don't produce as much power. In both those cases, you'll still have a PG&E bill. It'll just be lower than it is today. One of the disadvantages of a third-party purchase option is that you will not get the federal tax credit or investment tax credit. I use those two interchangeably, but the investment tax credit of 30% will go to whoever owns the system. So that's one of the models we'll get. The other three models I will use is the straight cash purchase if you have the money sitting in the bank, if you need to take out a bank loan, and if you are going to use what's called PACE financing, which is we are lucky to have Sonoma County Energy Independence Program here in Sonoma County, which is one of the first and probably I think the best PACE program in the nation right here in our backyard in Sonoma County. It's called SCIPE, or Sonoma County Energy Independence Program. For those three options, I will be using the same size system, just financing it in different ways. One other thing I would like to pack our bag with is concepts that I'm hearing a lot now is people are waiting for interest rates to go down before they finance. And one of the disadvantages I see in waiting for interest rates to go down is when I show you the cost comparisons between, I'm using Redwood Credit Union and Sonoma County Energy Independence prices that range between about 7.5% and 8.5% financing costs. Those interest rates in the last couple of years have only gone up about 1.5%, or 1.5%. In January 1st of this year, 2014, PG&E raised their rates 12%, 13% actually. And since 2021, PG&E has raised their rates now over 46%. So averaging about 12% per year. So to try to wait and save a point to 1.5 points, well, maybe that something we would like to do in a normal situation with PG&E rates escalating at the rate they're going. It doesn't seem to make much financial sense. So I encourage you to really evaluate, is it worth waiting, or is it better just to basically move to one of these other systems? All right. So again, we talked about the third-party finance systems. Our bag is packed. Let's go on the journey. The first thing I wanted to talk about is, how did I come up with these systems and how when I'm using them? So what I'm looking at doing here is taking a solar system that's going to produce about 9,700 kilowatt hours a year, which is about the average Sonoma County home, about 810 monthly kilowatt hours. Kind of throwing out apartment buildings and condos, but mainly focusing on our city homes and our country homes. And adding to that a 20 kilowatt hour backup battery. So right around $54,000. You get a 30% federal or investment tax credit, a little over $16,000. And again, nice thing about this tax credit is you get it in the first year. And so with that, it makes the systems very cash flow positive in the first year. So the number I'm going to be using, but for both the purchase and the finance amounts to $37,000 or $38,000 number here. But to make it a true 25-year cost of ownership model, while most of the solar systems come with a 25-year warranty on the products and the inverters and the racking, the labor warranty is only 10 years. So I extended the warranty here with an estimated $1,600 to cover the additional 15 years of extended warranty for that 15-year period. In addition, since the battery systems only have a 15-year warranty, I said, well, let's just look at replacing the batteries in year 15. Will they need to be replaced? Probably not, but I'm trying to be conservative here in my estimates. So the cost of the system, less the federal tax credit, adding the extended warranty and the battery replacement costs, we're now at about $56,000. And that's the number that I'm going to be using. In the bank loan and the Sonoma County energy independence models, I'll be adding in finance charges as well. So you can read the blogs to get that detail. If the numbers change and you need a different one, a Redwood Credit Union has a really nice loan calculator. And in this calculator, you can change the dollar amount. Their current interest rate is about 8.49%. Just to give you an idea, 3 years ago, they were about 6.99%. They use a 20-year period of time is what and you can do shorter periods if you want, but I use 20 years. So at the end of 20 years, you own the system. Another advantage of systems that are financed is usually at the end of the 20 years, you own them, where with third-party financed or ownership models, there's a fair market value buyout at the end of the 20 or 25-year term. And then also, another model that I talked to you about, the Sonoma County Energy Independence Program, where another 20-year assessment, they're a little bit less at 7.49%. 3 years ago, they were at 7%. And estimated monthly payment amounts. And again, this is going to be financed on your property taxes. So the assessment on your property taxes paid semi-annually, paid over a 20-year period. At the end of 20-year period, you own the system. So, the reality of these systems is there is a good financial. I will just caveat you saying cash is king. So usually prepaying makes sense. I did that with my solar system, but I also, when I bought an electric car, I added another 6 panels to my house. And when I did that, if my car got 30 miles per gallon, which my previous car did, those 6 panels, if I took the cost and pre-purchased them over that 25-year period, it would have been equivalent to purchasing gas back in 2013 of $1 per gallon. And I paid the equivalent to that $1 per gallon all through from 2013 to present, and I will pay it for another 15 years as well. So I basically prepaid the gasoline in my electric car over that period of time. It's just another way of looking at it. So you'll see in this model, I brought everything down to a cost per kilowatt basis over a 25-year period. I think it's an easy way to look at it without getting into all the nitty-gritty and the fine detail. Again, we have a comment section. Please, any comments on this blog, please put them in there, and any suggestions of future blogs you might like to hear, we would love to hear from you. Thanks again for listening.